Pokemon Master, my name is Birdkeeper Toby. Thank you for clicking on my video and welcome. Welcome to a video that I doubt seems familiar to you. Right now we are at 200,000 plus subscribers. When I first uploaded, the first time I did my top 10 Kanto Pokemon, I had 151 subscribers. Yeah, that's not even a joke, I had 151 subscribers. But it's been 5 years, and as I've been saying, I want to treat this year like it's the beginning again, like we're starting over. And also, my favorite Pokemon list, my tastes change all the time. Like for a long time, I swore that Snorlax was my favorite Pokemon, and it's absolutely not anymore. I'll get to that. But because I'm always playing the games, I mean, I've played through Kanto like 5 or 6 times in the last 5 years. Let's go Pikachu, let's go Eevee, Pokemon Yellow multiple times. I've been through the Kanto region in my Johto adventures with the Virtual Consoles Gold, Silver, Crystal, so I've done Kanto a lot, and my experiences with various Pokemon and my tastes have simply changed. So I want to take this chance for you to get to know me, the kinds of Pokemon I like, why I like them, and of course I want to know in the description what are your top 10 favorite Pokemon of the region. And yeah, eventually I will get through all of the regions. Oh, also, we've had like Gigantamax and Alolan forms since I first did this. And yeah, I'll probably also include Mega Evolutions in this as well. So here we go, my top 10 favorite Kanto Pokemon. Starting with number 10, Articuno. Starting number 10 with Articuno, Arctic 1. First Pokemon on the list. You know, I can't really pinpoint why it is Articuno specifically and not Moltres and Zapdos. I think the legendary bird trio in general is quite interesting and also kind of underexplored. Like, you think about the origins of Raikou, Entei, Suicune, you know exactly what they are. You know what the Regi's relationship is to Regigigas and how their caves work. But with the legendary birds, they're just roaming. You know, there may be a relationship there to Lugia if you look at the animated series and the movies specifically. But yeah, I don't know, they've always had this air of mystery around them, and Articuno has always been my favorite. When I was younger and I played Fire Red and Leaf Green for the first time, I actually bothered to add the Articuno to my team. I didn't do that with Zapdos and Moltres, so it kind of, I like it more for that. But also just recently with the Pokemon card game, because yeah, that contributes to my Pokemon experience. I remember when the set from last year, Hidden Fates, which has been one of my favorite sets, collecting all the shiny Pokemon, and one of the first shiny Pokemon that it wasn't actually me, it was my girlfriend Phoebe pulled, was a shiny Articuno, and I just remember thinking, wow, it looks glistening and beautiful and awesome. Articuno is majestic. There's something clunky about the design of Zapdos's wings, and with Moltres, I don't know, I've just never really fallen in love with it, but Articuno, that is a Pokemon that really screams legendary. Oh, also, I recorded this fractionally before they got announced. I have to shout out the new legendary birds, the Galarian forms. Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno all look equally cool here, and maybe even look cooler than regular Articuno. Obviously, I haven't had the time to kind of adventure with them and play alongside them yet, so I wouldn't put them on this list yet. But I can't not mention them. They are incredible redesigns. As a bird keeper, they are the ultimate goal to catch. And I cannot wait to explore the Crown Tundra and find these legends. For number 9, we have Slowpoke, and its evolution Slowbro. I can never quite decide whether it's Slowbro or Slowking. I know when I was younger it was absolutely Slowking. I think now it's Slowbro, and that's simply for one reason. It has a wild Mega evolution. It's kind of a crime that Slowbro's Mega came out in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, given that... Do you even encounter Slowpoke in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? Does it even appear along your route in the story, or is it a post-game thing? Let's go Eevee and Pikachu a few years ago were my first opportunity to use Mega Slowbro as a teammate. And I just think it looks wildly funky, and so right now, Slowbro. Yeah, you're one of my favorites from the Kanto region. I also have, and I'm just going to show you, I've also just got this Slowpoke figurine from when I was younger, and I'm very, very fond of it. Also, my evil team, Team Snooze, of which you are all members if you would like. Slowpoke is a very drowsy Pokemon, so Slowpoke, Slowbro. Drowsy Pokemon. Not as drowsy, but it's up there. Number 8, it would be impossible not to mention Pikachu. I'm sorry, I know, it's generic, it's a personalized list, but the thing is, Pokemon is a big part of my life, and so naturally so is Pikachu. It is the face of the franchise. But in general, Pikachonk is just absolutely fantastic, and I love it, and I think it's the best thing. It's made me love Pikachu even more. I bought this absolutely depressed looking old school plush of Pikachonk, and oh, he's so miserable. Look how unhappy he is, oh you poor thing. I've also used Pikachu on my adventures. When I was playing through Virtual Console Crystal for the first time, I ended up getting the odd egg and from it hatching a shiny Pichu, so I got a shiny Pikachu. And I know shiny Pikachu and regular Pikachu, they look pretty similar, but I was excited about it. So yeah, I mean, it just is importance to the franchise. There's no way Pikachu couldn't be on this list, but it's not very high up because, of course, I think Pikachu is just a familiar face to everyone. Number 7, and yeah, number 7, as low as number 7, Snorlax. Look, I like Snorlax. I still love Snorlax. It's the key ace Pokemon of Team Snooze. I got one of my viewers, one of you lovely people at an event gave me this little tiny Snorlax and I love it. I used to threaten you that if you don't like the video, he'll sit on you, which I still threaten, but just know it won't hurt much because this Snorlax is tiny. It's not like the Snorlax in Smash that, you know, covers the whole screen. But as it happens, I would actually say that I like Munchlax's design more than I like Snorlax's nowadays. It was just a Snorlax phase that I went through. I've gone through phases of saying Blaziken is my favorite Pokemon. It's now not even my favorite Hoenn starter. I've gone through phases of feeling like Noctowl is my favorite Pokemon. I do like shiny Noctowl, yeah, I like it a lot. And Snorlax was just one such period of time where I felt like, I just remember at one point feeling like Snorlax really represented me, like, I love food, which I do, and I love sleeping, I love napping, so yeah, Snorlax was my Pokemon. But nowadays, Snorlax is just another Pokemon that I like. A lot. Enough to make it onto a top 10 list. Number 6, it's actually 2 Pokemon, totally different, but they're tied for 6th place, and I'm still gonna do a number 5 because it's my top 10 list, and you know, I can do what I want, and that would be Omastar and Kabutops. Fossil Pokemon in Generation 1 was something special. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong, Armaldo and Cradily, the next lot of fossil Pokemon, were very, very interesting, and I like them, and I love the Sinnoh ones that you get in the Sinnoh Underground, but Omastar and Kabutops, they're etched into the walls of the ruins of Ouse, surrounded by the mystery of the unknown. The mighty Helix fossil took its place in 2015 as it's the face of Twitch Plays Pokemon. There is an incredibly rare Kabutops card, Shining Kabutops, that I really want, and there's a Crystal Kabutops. Kabutops is linked in with a whole bunch of Pokemon theories about Genesect and Scyther and possibly even Parasect. The fossils in Generation 1, there was only one of each of them, so it was hard to get them, and then in Generation 2, they weren't there at all. They were only used by incredibly powerful trainers, like, for example, Brock as the final or almost final gym leader of the Kanto region in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Omastar and Kabutops, I love them equally, but it's the air of mystery around them. And I like Aerodactyl too, but because I don't know what it is about Aerodactyl, it just doesn't feel as special to me. So, Omastar and Kabutops, you take the number 6 slot together. Number 5, totally weird, totally wild, never thought it would ever be on a top 10 list, Mankey. I really like Mankey. So I did a run through of Pokemon Yellow about 2 years ago, and when you play Pokemon Yellow, you're faced with a choice very early on in the game, where you have one of 3 options, but it's not Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charmander, it's Nidoran, Caterpie, or Mankey. This is in order to beat the first gym trainer, Brock. You really shouldn't do it with just a Pidgey or just a Rattata or just a Pikachu. But Nidoran learns Double Kick, Mankey learns Low Kick, and Butterfree learns Confusion. If you level up a Caterpie, you get a level 10, it'll become a Butterfree. Requires a lot of grinding though. And typically I would always go the Butterfree route, but Butterfree never really lasts me past the 2nd gym. I just feel like it's hard to keep a Butterfree at a high enough level because it reaches its max potential at level 10, and so after that it doesn't become a very solid team member as far as I'm concerned. And you know, I've done the whole Nidoking, Nidoqueen thing before, but I've never done the Mankey thing before, and I think that's because you have to, you know, turn left at Viridian City and go on a side tangent to go and get it. So I finally did it, and I abandoned Pikachu right away. I decided Mankey is my starter Pokemon, and I did the whole game with a Mankey and a Venonat. My Elite Four team, my Elite Four beating team was Primeape and Venomoth. I love Venomoth a lot too, that nearly made this list as well, but yeah, Mankey is my starting Pokemon in Pokemon Yellow. That was the one I chose 2 years ago. Very weird way to play the game, but I enjoyed it. By the way, you probably saw that if you were following me on Instagram, @BirdkeeperToby. Make sure you follow me. Thank you, we need them social followers. Also, it's just nice to see you there in the comments. Number 4, Dragonite. And not so much in recent years. Dragonite in general has a design that I think didn't translate super well to 3D. But when I look back at the Pokemon Yellow sprites, I get incredibly nostalgic about Dragonite. First of all, it's hard to get in Pokemon Yellow. And second of all, the only time that you're seeing that sprite is as the final boss of the game, more or less. Dragonite is a tough enemy. Seeing Ash beat it in the Orange Islands and winning his championship felt like, yeah, that is the Pokemon that he should be trying to triumph over at the end of a Generation 1 saga. And I have very fond memories of getting through the GameCube game Pokemon Gale of Darkness, catching every single Shadow Pokemon, and then ultimately getting to capture Dragonite as my reward. I still have that Dragonite. There's something very mystical and very special about Dragonite, and while I can't place my finger on it specifically, and I don't have too many specific personal experiences with it, Dragonite is just a very special Pokemon. Oh, and actually, it's one of my favorite Pokemon cards. The fossil version of Dragonite. That holo is beautiful. Okay, number 3, it's 3 Pokemon tying for 1 slot again. Zard, Stoice, and Saw. The 3 starter Pokemon final evolutions, their whole evolution lines, all of it together, all of it tied. I have too many, countless experiences with all of these Pokemon. I change my mind about which is my favorite every 5 seconds, I just couldn't tell you. Blastoise is incredible. It was my first level 100 Pokemon in Fire Red and Leaf Green, and I went on an incredible journey with it. Charizard with its Megas and Gigantamax forms and shiny cards. Oh, Charizard's fantastic. And then Venusaur. I think Venusaur might be my favorite at the moment, and I don't even know why. Maybe it's just because Ash's Bulbasaur is so cool in the TV show. I could nerd out and talk about how awesome all 3 of these Pokemon are. I've used them on a number of my teams, and I'll never, ever, ever be able to pick a favorite. So Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur, you are particularly cool, and you are taking my number 3 slot. Hey, do you actually have a favorite, by the way? Let me know in the comments, because I can never choose. Number 2, though. Number 2 is Hypno. This is an odd choice. This is another one that I didn't expect to sort of be on this list. And I know the next run through I do of Fire Red, Leaf Green, or whatever, I'm getting a Hypno. I remember the first time I played Pokemon Yellow, the copy of the game was in Spanish. And because I can't read, I remember accidentally depositing Pikachu into my box so that I could make room for a Drowsy. So that was particularly cool. But fundamentally, I know if you want a creepy Pokemon, you usually go Gengar in Gen 1. If you want a psychic powerhouse, you go Alakazam. But Hypno combines features of both of these Pokemon. That air of creepiness and the same yellow of Alakazam and psychic powers. But it does something else. It has Pokedex entries that really make your skin crawl, so much so that it inspired a whole genre of creepypastas around Pokemon specifically. Creepypastas that in turn inspired YouTube videos and inspired YouTube content creators. I've done horror videos about Hypno, and in general, Hypno is one of the creepiest Pokemon out there, and as a talking point makes for such an interesting thing that it's almost spawned. It's been part of the origin of Poketubing for me, comes simply from the Pokemon Hypno. Hypno is a cool Pokemon. It's also like the most dangerous Pokemon in Team Snooze, so yeah, I absolutely think Hypno is one of my favorite Kanto Pokemon, and it is only behind one other Pokemon. We dreamed of creating the world's most powerful Pokemon, and we succeeded. Number 1, Mewtwo. How could it not be? Mew was on my original list. I don't know where Mew is nowadays. I like it, it's cute, but it's not my favorite mythical. Mewtwo, on the other hand, is always the final boss. It is the Pokken final boss. It is the Detective Pikachu final boss. It is the end of Cerulean Cave. Team Rocket is one of my favorite villainous teams, and there they are, creating the most powerful Pokemon and then trying to enhance it and make it worse. In the trading card game, I have this PSA graded Shadow Mewtwo, and I absolutely love it. Mewtwo is essentially half human. I've done so many videos about Mewtwo and its origins and its connection to all sorts of different things. Mewtwo is, in my opinion, in terms of lore specifically, not necessarily game mechanics, the most powerful Pokemon, which I think makes it really, really cool. And I think if Pokemon was up for telling more mature stories and more adult level stories, I do think Mewtwo would make an even better antagonist. There is so much behind it, and behind the creation story, and behind the way that its mind must be working. I think Mewtwo is absolutely fantastic as a Pokemon. And so, there you have it. Those are my top 10 favorite Kanto Pokemon. Now, what will I do next? My 10 least favorite? Or perhaps we'll move to the Johto region, which I think is more likely. I want to revisit all of these videos and revisit my favorites of each, my least favorites of each, maybe. Or maybe I'll just do one overarching video for my least favorites. I'll do Mega Evolutions, I'll do regional variants, so there's a lot to cover. I want to hear, of course, your opinions in the comments below, and with that being said, so hi Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master.
And a particular Pokemon Master thank you to all of my big patrons this month, including the Nerd Therapist. Thank you.